grammatical errors that people might make, if I can catch them. And a word of the day, I didn't get one, but let's use entrepreneur. This club is the eloquent entrepreneurs. We haven't had guests for a few weeks. So let's go out there and search for some more entrepreneurs to bring them into our club. Choose the word. Thank you.
Thank you. Keith Motzner is going to be our general evaluator today. Keith, tell us what you will be doing in today's meeting.
As an entrepreneur, we have to scrutinize things that happen in our company, so I'll be scrutinizing you entrepreneurially today in your roles, the different roles. So I'll be presenting the different roles later, and we'll have an overall evaluation of how we did today. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. All right. Let's get into our prepared speeches, because we know what Willie's going to do with table topics. So I'll just let him surprise us when he gets up here. We'll move into our prepared speeches. Our first speech is going to be Trixie Hunter-Merrill, but before she gets up here, let's ask her evaluator, Deborah Fraunfelder, to tell us what she's looking for today.
Trixie's objectives. She's speaking from the Speaking to Inform manual, doing the project 1, and her objectives are to select a new and useful information for presentation to the audience, organize the information for easy understanding and retention, present the information in a way that will help motivate the audience to learn. She has 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate that you made sure that our timer knows exactly how long the speech is. Trixie will present us with some informative and insightful facts about Asperger's and autism, and what you learn may surprise you. Presenting a speech called Asperger's, Aspies and Me, please welcome Trixie Hunter-Merrill.
Have you ever had someone tell you you're too much? Have you ever had a reason to explain why you are the way you are? Have you ever been told you're a lot to handle? Have you ever been told, I just don't know how to take you? Well, I have. And the reason why is because I have Asperger's. Now, many people aren't quite sure what that term means yet. If you're aware of that, you may know that Asperger's got lumped in to the autism world. It used to be separate. It used to be called personality dissociative disorder. Basically, you have trouble getting along with people. You might have some social interactions. One of the things that most people don't know is that it's considered high-functioning autism, or a mild case of autism. Now, if you know the spectrum and you've heard of that, you can kind of understand where that puts an Asperger's person. If not, very briefly, I want to give you an overarching. In the autism world, they talk about the spectrum. Think of a rainbow. And there's very severe autistic who really have a hard time functioning in society. They don't do very well. They usually like to stay by themselves. They might work, but they generally work from home because they don't do well in an office atmosphere, and they really struggle socially. Then you go on that rainbow, as you see in the middle, and a little bit towards the end. And those are people that still have autism, but that's more the Asperger's society. In Asperger's, you have a mild form of autism. Us in the Aspie world, as we're called, I am an Aspie, we talk about the fact that a lot of people think we're weird, but it's a common joke of, we're not weird, you're all weird, we're normal. We're totally fine. Asperger's and Aspies don't understand sarcasm. People, my husband, he's sarcastic all the time, and I stand there, what? What? Didn't get it. People tell me jokes, and everyone's laughing, ah, ha, 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 they're all cracking up. And I'm sitting there going, oh, what was that so funny? Now, I might get the joke like 2 days later, which cracks my husband up because I start laughing for no reason, because it might take me that long to process it. Another thing that Aspies have a hard time with, like I said, on that social interaction, the social cues and social things. Sometimes I really want to walk around with a sign that says, I have no filter. I see things in black and white. Now, I've learned to realize that's not how the world is. I'm 48 years old, I know, but it's still a struggle for me. Most people think about your processing time when you're speaking. Maybe someone says something to you, you have a moment or two that you're processing things and you think about it, think about the eloquence, maybe the couth, maybe the wit, all of those things. And some people handle that processing faster than others. Well, as an Aspie, I'm processing that, but I'm processing what you're processing on top of what I'm trying to figure out. This is how a conversation in my head sometimes goes. You're talking to me, and all of a sudden I realize a response. Well, let's see, did he mean it this way or did he mean it that way? And is it okay if I say it this, or is that going to be too bold? If it's too bold, do I need to explain that I'm too bold? Because maybe I don't need to explain that. And all this time, I'm racing in my head, trying to figure this stuff out, and still be quick enough that you're not going, are you going to answer that anytime soon? It's a struggle. It's not an easy road down the Aspies line. Mostly, if you are in that mild form of autism, people think you're normal. We talk about being socially adept enough to function in society. We're entrepreneurs, we're doing things that we want to do, excuse me, and we're moving along the best we can. But we're awkward enough that, like I said, there's times we have to explain ourselves. And to me, as a person who has Asperger's, that's a really frustrating thing to have to do. Because it's a label, for one thing. I don't like that. I'm not a labels girl. I don't really like that label. If people understand it, right away they assume autism. And as Aspies, we don't like that term. So it's a struggle to constantly have to define who you are, why you are the way you are. I'm sorry that I said that rudely in the email. I didn't mean to be hard. I'm sorry if I bit your head off. It just frustrated me. I didn't realize I needed to filter that more. It's not meant to be abrasive or abusive, and I never want it to be an excuse. Sometimes I'm afraid that it might feel like that because I'm trying to get people to understand who I am. So today, I wanted to share this in my Speaking to Inform because, one, I don't think that's something that many of you know about me. That's maybe a hidden thing. But if you do know anything about it, it might help you to understand me a little bit more and help me to interact with you. And if you're in the world and you see some things that people are having social cue interaction problems, maybe they're not grasping a joke or sarcasm, maybe you see them, they're very social, but yet they're an introvert at that moment in that event, maybe think about that maybe they're struggling with that and they just need a little understanding. And so that's my challenge to you, is not just Asperger's, but everyone, but especially Asperger's, Aspies, and autism. Think about that before you react, and think about how you can help them to interact with you. Thank you.